Alright, so fun fact, we actually never even practiced this, so it might be really bad. We love you, Eleanor, don't fire us. Alright, so.
You're fired.
Just oh no, she was saying something important. Crack myself up. Alright, so. In light of the elections, and you know today is election day in EA. Let me stand in front of the podium. Today is election day in EA.
Yay!
All right, today we want to talk about who said it best. So who said it best, Hillary or Trump? All right, so politicians use a lot of rhetoric and they use a lot of language, right? Most of the time we can't understand them. In Trump's case, we really can't understand them. So today we're going to study the etymological tendencies of the past and present presidential candidates. I'm sorry, I gotta stop. All right, so we studied the readability of campaign speeches, okay, from the 2016 presidential candidates. All right, we're doing this study. It's based off of Elliott and Maxine. So they did a study on this, and right now we're going to delve into it a little bit. So to measure the grade levels that presidents speak at, they use REAP. All right, so REAP is a much better tool for using it. It's great. Okay, it's great. All right. Fletch Kincaid, it's terrible. It's terrible. I suck at Donald Trump impressions. All right, but REAP. All right, so REAP is better because REAP. It's when you speak, you tend to use like more fragmented sentences and such things. The Fletch and Kincaid is better for like reading over an essay, like figuring out the biggest words that you use and the longest sentences that you wrote, and if they're grammatical or not. So the REAP thing does more like the grammatical structures, like if you use words like win instead of success. So that was right. So to start us off, we're going to talk about the past and present presidential candidates, and to do that, we're going to have Jeff come up and talk about Hillary Clinton and Trump and how they match up to like Abe Lincoln and such people. So.
Yeah, Jeff.
So we're gonna just talk about the grammar level and the vocabulary level for Trump and Hillary. So first we have the lexical measure, which is basically the vocabulary, the grade for their vocabulary level. And as the chart points out, Trump has around a 7th grade vocabulary level, whereas Hillary has a 8th, 9th grade incoming freshman vocabulary level. So this is their vocabulary level over the time span of the election cycle. You can see that Hillary Clinton, in the beginning, early stages of the election cycle, she started off with a 6th grade vocabulary level, but then as the primaries went on, she went up to 11th grade vocabulary level. And Trump just stayed consistent at a 7th grade, 8th grade vocabulary level. You guys should note out that the y-axis has a different change in value. Trump is a change in 1 value, whereas Hillary has a 2-unit change, so keep that in perspective. In addition to vocabulary, in vocabulary level, we also have grammar level. In the past and present historical presidential elections, we see that Abraham Lincoln has the highest grammar level, whereas George W. Bush has the lowest grammar level. But Trump comes right after Bush with the 2nd lowest at around 5th grade vocabulary, 5th grade grammar level. And Hillary stands at around 7th grade, middle school grammar level. And also, we also have their timeline of their grammar level. We see that Trump always stays around 5th grade grammar level. However, there's a spike right here at an 8th, 9th grade grammar level. This was during the Iowa caucus. So one might predict that he just wanted to show more intelligence in the first primary winnings, that he wanted to show his intelligence in the first primary winnings. And Hillary Clinton always stayed about a 7th, 8th grade grammar level. So overall, we see that Trump has a disadvantage compared to Hillary Clinton in grammar and vocabulary level. And now we're going to show the historical context of the Democratic and Republican Party.
All right, so Jeff kind of touched on how the current candidates compare in terms of reading ability and reading level, and grammatically how their speeches flow. myself and Margaret are going to touch on thematically what Democrats and Republicans have talked about over the years. So Democrats largely talk about involved campaign actors and crafted togetherness. Those are the two main categories. We're missing a slide. Either way, so campaign actors, they're going to talk about the Democratic Party more than Republicans talk about the Republican Party. So when a Democrat is giving a speech, they're more likely to bring up other Democrats that have positions in government and ideals that are specific to the Democratic Party. They'll praise the Democratic Party. They'll also talk about you, the voter, more often than Republicans will. And they also talk about this theme of togetherness. Largely the last two here, human interests and rapport. Human interest just means that Democrats are more likely to use terms like grandchildren, they'll talk about your kids, and they'll talk about more humanitarian efforts. Rapport just means that Democrats are more likely to talk about tolerance, consensus, and approval. So I guess everyone kind of sharing a similar opinion and kind of being more accepting of people in general. Now I'll hand it over to Margaret to talk about the Republican Party.
Thanks, Eric. All right, so now we're going to talk about my favorite group of people, Republican politicians. The people trying to make America great again. So this paper kind of showed us results, what you would mostly expect. So Republican candidates usually use more symbols, so American symbols like the flag or the 4th of July, or religious references like, Jesus, the Bible, and how morality fits into our everyday lives. And they do this to connect with their viewers and try to foster a sense of unity. They think of America as sort of one system together rather than breaking them up. So Democrats, you'll notice, will sort of file people into groups. They'll have, farmers, teachers, the upper and lower class. But to Republicans, they just have sort of Americans and us. And this oversimplification tends to extend to other aspects of their rhetoric as well. So they usually will have shorter sentence structures, move more quickly, and will sort of hop from one topic to the next using these symbols and touch on them briefly, sort of offer kind of a solution and have kind of just like abstract things that they're talking about, but they say it in a very definite way. And say what you will about whether there's a lack of detail or not and whether that's a good or bad thing, but honestly their speeches usually leave people feeling more confident than Democratic speeches, and the paper found that. So, you can see a lot of these findings in even Trump in this election. He will talk about America like, China's stealing our jobs. Us Americans need to get our jobs back. Or he'll say, like, even in his slogan, Make America Great Again, he's representing this sort of idealistic America, this sort of abstract concept that Republicans tend to sort of propagate. And now with all that being said, we're going to hand it over to An, who's going to talk about demographics.
Thank you, Margaret. So we talk about the what, we talk about the how, and I'd like to focus on the who. Who resonates better with each candidate, given their special language skills. Pew Research actually did a survey on this by cold calling more than 2,000 people, and they found that with Hillary, she won a lot of votes for women and minorities groups, and especially millennials or younger people. Whereas for Donald, he won a lot of votes for white men and who are more likely to be older than Hillary's. In education, Hillary's backers are more likely to have gone to college, whereas Donald's supporters didn't go to college as much. Especially if you look at the education among whites, the non-college versus college level in Trump's voters are about 60-40. Next, I'd like to talk more about income. Hillary's won a lot of votes for the high and low income, especially with the low, where she has a 60% favorable, and they're actually about the same in the middle income levels. So, as a result, from their language skills, the popularity is actually different. If you look at Google Trends, Trump has been always been more popular than Hillary, but recently Hillary's getting closer, and they're likely to meet at this point. Another thing that Pew Research pointed out was about the level of satisfaction with candidates from voters, and they found that voters this year are not very happy with their candidates, and it's actually been the lowest in decades. So that's really interesting.
Great job, Lon. We're not going to clap for you. So yeah, so we talked about the different kind of languages that people use, like Chinese and Spanish. I'm joking. That was a joke. So we talked about how y'all get no jokes. So yeah, talk about how different candidates use language differently. We see Trump says a lot of words that are very small, don't require a lot of syllables, to appeal to a certain demographic of people. You see most of this demographic are some of the people that didn't go to college or were college dropouts. And Hillary, her sentence structures are usually full and complete, and they attract people that are from higher incomes, and also people that are post-grad, have graduated from college and stuff like that. So just pay attention to how these politicians are speaking. They're definitely doing it on purpose. I'm pretty sure Trump is not an idiot, maybe. And I'm sure Hillary isn't an idiot too. Everything that they're doing is very tactical. So pay attention, and get ready to vote next week. I hope everybody in here votes, because we all make a difference. So, all right. Yeah.